theme of this talk is innovation. Doctors have long recognized that innovation can sometimes be appropriately introduced in a clinical practice. Actually, the most spectacular innovation occurred in Toronto, my hometown, Toronto, Canada, in 1921, when Banting and Best, who were my teachers when I went to medical school, discovered insulin and applied it to the treatment of diabetes in kids who otherwise would have died without it. And subsequently, other innovations have come forth from clinical experience. I'm about to relate what I think is a significant innovation that occurred in my clinical practice to make a huge difference in the management of the diabetes epidemic that we are currently experiencing. The statistics are incontrovertible. We're now facing a rising level of obesity in children, young adults, and senior citizens, and they are headed for diabetes. We know the connection, we know the relationship. But up to now, it's been difficult for commercial programs to do more than temporarily help such people. They have no trouble taking some weight off, but keeping it off is another story. What we have crafted in this practice that goes back almost 50 years, over the years we have found certain phenomena that seem to be explained on the basis of a rather simple formula. That is, persistent obesity has two major components to it. One is that there is resistance to insulin, and therefore too much insulin is provided as a compensation. And the second part of it is the most important brain chemical, serotonin, is depleted, presumably most effectively by stress. So when these two factors come together, and this has been described in previous talks that have been preserved on YouTube, I feel that the result ultimately leads to an incomplete control of the condition. That is, every program has the initial success, and then it stops. And the question is, why is this? Why do people who lose weight can't keep it off? Why don't they have a sustained and permanent and lifelong result? Well, the point is that the weight loss itself is not completely understood. It appears that the reason for a lack of permanent effect in weight loss programs is that the act of dieting itself manages to deplete the serotonin that's already in rather short supply. And finally, when these people hit the wall, these patients can't go any farther. Even the most dedicated dieters can't continue to lose because they are compelled by virtue of the fact that they are desperately seeking serotonin via comfort, carbohydrate-containing foods. They put weight back on. So the medicine that we have been using for the past 20 years with considerable success is the only one that I know of that can provide a sort of jump start of serotonin at the beginning of sleep, because the molecule of this trazodone medication contains a serotonin equivalent that sets in motion something in the brain that will lead to a deep level of restorative sleep that multiplies serotonin. So when people present with a diminished serotonin, as I mentioned, that's characteristic of obesity, they can't really fill their brain of the serotonin that's lacking without something that's available from outside, which is a source of serotonin, and this is what this medication provides, and no other sleeping medicine can. Now, the point is that why is it that the weight loss then becomes permanent? Because the very act of giving them serotonin with trazodone begins the process of replenishing that serotonin night by night. So not only when people on our program lose weight, but they also have the capacity to generate, in the course of getting that weight under control, they have more and more serotonin night by night until sometime in the future, maybe 6 months or a year after they've lost the weight, they will end up having replenished their brain serotonin sufficiently to slowly withdraw the medication. Now, the point about this is that under circumstances where you can no longer measure something in the blood, you're faced with symptoms to follow. And the symptoms that you follow to see whether you're going too fast with the reduction of trazodone are carbohydrate cravings and daytime fatigue. Now, once you have replenished the serotonin and you have the adequate serotonin in the brain, then you can function without needing the medicine anymore. So this medicine has the virtue of being able to make itself less and less necessary and ultimately unnecessary. And there are no serious side effects, although some people who are super sensitive to it have to be treated gently with low doses to start with, because one size does not fit all. But in terms of the benefit that this medicine gives compared with the risk involved, it's called the risk-benefit ratio. It's overwhelmingly in favor of the medicine doing good and doing good on a permanent basis. And finally, I want to conclude with what I feel this program should be called. And forgive me for being immodest, but I'm going to say it's Dr. Ezrin's Neuro-Endocrine method of permanent weight control. And the neuro is the serotonin, and the endocrine is the insulin component. And if these are looked after, then automatically people will lose weight, and I have no difficulty keeping it off. Good health to you.